With Smart Voice from Shaw Business, collaborating in a busy business is easy.
You can teleconference with your team with the push of a button.
You can use instant messaging to get instant answers.
You can even use screen share to collaborate on work docs so everyone can literally be on the same page. How cool is that? Smart Voice works seamlessly across any device with your entire team, even when you're not together.
I'm still here.
Discover all the benefits of Smart Voice at shopbusiness.ca.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good morning, Divas. You've just tuned into the Divas That Care Network. My name is Candace Gish, and I'm the host of this show. I am so excited that you've all tuned in. We're going to be introducing to you a brand new diva to our family. I'm really excited. She's going to be sharing some things that she does in her practice, her life, and it's going to be so much fun. I always enjoy this part of the show is really talking to our brand new guests that come on our show because it's exciting. We get that excitement of getting to know somebody, and so I really want you to listen to her. I know that from what I've had the opportunity to chat with her, that she will be a guest on our show again. So you're going to just love her, and let's get started. Well, welcome to our show, Kathy. I'm going to apologize because I did not pronounce your name earlier, but it's Heinsel.
Heinsel. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was that?
No, hardly anyone gets it right. That's totally fine. I think of like Heinz ketchup. We get all kinds of things in the mail. Hein John, but it's Heinsen.
Heisen. Oh, there we go. It's a beautiful name, and I do apologize. I was like, oh, my goodness, I do apologize. I was just calling you Kathy the whole time. Well, Kathy, welcome to the Divas That Care. I am so excited to have you today.
Thank you. I'm so grateful and honored to be here. This is exciting.
We're going to have a great call today. I know that you've got some great things to share with our listeners today. Kathy, can you spend, let's say, 5 minutes here? Tell us about yourself. We're so excited to get to know you.
Yeah. So where do we start, right? So I'm single. I'm in my mid-30s. This is not where I thought I would be at this time in my space in terms, watching all my friends grow up and have families and married and all these different things. And I had a whole bunch of gifts in strange wrapping paper, as Dr. Weissman calls it, that I have had a lot of health challenges growing up and some autoimmune things. And I've kind of always been a caregiver and taking care of everyone else. And, you always learn through those experiences. And so while I've worked on finding the answers and solutions for myself, that's led me to some really beautiful tools and life-changing experiences. And so that's kind of what I do is I pay forward the things that I've learned, and that's like core to who I am. I can find passion and excitement and good things in almost anything and anyone. I always have. I've always seen beauty. It's funny, I'm like a sunset chaser and a sunrise. I will try and capture the moments and just finding beauty anywhere around me and just taking it in. And nature is something that speaks to my heart. So I love being out in nature as much as possible. But yeah, I've struggled with a lot of autoimmune things, and so I had to gather some tools of learning alternative things. My mom went through a similar route, and we almost lost her quite young. I remember several times, and she turned to herbs and cleanses and different things that worked for her at that time, and when the medical world didn't really work for her, and they didn't know what to do for her. And so I had a similar path in college and was so sick, and they're like, we don't know what to do, so we're going to give you the medication we give AIDS patients because your immune system is so crazy and we need to suppress it. And I was so sick, and I just remember at one point with hives every day and with massive stomach issues and all kinds of hormone problems and just feeling crazy and depressed and all kinds of things. And I just remember thinking, this is nuts. I just didn't want to do this anymore. And that's when my pivot turned, where I also remembered my mom's, because I was pretty young, so I had kind of lived my own space and get into college and eat whatever and like, woohoo, here, right, freedom, staying up late and chatting with friends.
Yes.
And so I had to relearn some things. It's like, oh, yeah, back to basics. Like mom changed nutrition, and she worked on some other things that were just whole foods and other things. And then I found oils and foot reflexology, and then I found the Lifeline Technique, which is really just about the subconscious mind and how all these things that I had stuffed for so many years and taking care of everyone else, and that all that was manifesting through my physical body. And I had to get to the root of a lot of that and work on healing the underneath scars and wounds and deep things that I had avoided for so long because I didn't know what to do with them. And once I finally started to address that, then things really started to change in my life. And so that's what I love doing. I get to work with people who are wounded, who have trauma, who have any kind of emotional, physical challenge, and they're kind of similar, in the path where they've tried a lot of different things and they don't know what works because they've tried everything. And so the working with the mind and the emotions and the subconscious is what starts to shift life for them too. So I love it. I'm a Mod Podge.
Wow.
I like a lot of things. You can put a pin in something and I'll find something that's awesome.
Well, isn't that amazing? That's where we always start. And we've had different guests on here, too. I want to congratulate you because it's in the fact that you have that great attitude, that I love the positivity that you have, and you seeing the beautiful. I know that myself. I'm like, I get so excited when I look in my yard, and I'm like, oh, there's a butterfly on my flower, or you see those rainbows, and it's just those moments that it's just that childlike enthusiasm, and it makes everything just feels so much better. And my kids always laugh because they throw back my words at me. They're like, Mom, don't sweat the small stuff, just live your life, just enjoy it. And I'm like, I talk too much apparently because now my kids throw it back at me. So, I love that. I love that you have that inner gratefulness, that inner focus and beauty. And it's just a great thing just to listen through your voice here. And I'm listening to your story here, and I'm excited because I do not know what a Lifeline practitioner is. And I just want to kind of go back a little bit into that story. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because as listening to you, I'm excited to learn more about that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different tools and modalities out there. There's truth in many, many different ways. And when people are seeking answers, they have downloads, and a lot of them kind of cross paths. And the Lifeline Technique is something where it combines so many different modalities. And I remember I was at such a low point, and I was doing some foot zoning. I had been working for an adoption agency. I was going to go into social work, and I was like, this is just not my path. I love the work. I love being in with people and love working with the moms and the babies and the families. It was such a beautiful time to connect all of them. And yet I looked at the social workers and saw how messy life was for them, being the person that always gave to everyone else, and yet their lives were falling apart. And they were really not happy. And I just started questioning, is this really the best way, that I have to sacrifice my health and myself in order to help other people? And I just felt like my heart was calling me to a better way. And not that social work is bad or wrong, or it just was not my path. And because I know my personality, I would have given everything of myself, and I would have not been able to have that balance of showing up present to them and for myself. And so I took a sabbatical, and I went to move in with my mom at the time, and so I was jobless for a while, and I'd never had a problem finding a job before. So I had put out resumes all the time, every day. I talked to many people. I went to look for work, and I could not find anything. And I remember I did a few people foot zoning just here and there to kind of just keep my head above water. And I remember going to the bookstore at the time and just waiting to pass time before my next client, before I went over to their place. And then I was just kind of in a bad headspace, and I was looking at nutrition books and health because I had, at least still worked on that side of things and control, and like I will manage this part of my life. But so I remember looking at those recipe books, and I just remember hearing the voice like, go look at the other wall. And I was like, no, I'm not going to listen to you, because to me, it was like, okay, God, like I'm mad. You put me here in this space. You had my heart have this call and this passion, and yet I wasn't finding answers, and I was frustrated and had no money and was really stressed out. And so I was like, now, like, forget you. Why should I listen to you now? And it was like, no, go look at the other wall. And I literally, so I did, and I had one of those, it's just so like, haha, cliche, but I literally, when I went to go look at the other wall, the only book that stood out to me was Dr. Darren Weissman's The Power of Infinite Love and Gratitude. It's a beautiful book. And I remember pulling it off the shelf, and I just knew. I just had this knowing that something in this, because love and gratitude to me was a complete cycle. Love is free from God, from the universe, and it's something that's unconditional and it's divine and it's who we are. And gratitude is our recognition of that love. And so to me, it was like, whoa, whoever wrote this, like, he's got it. This is it. You know, this is a cycle. And so I took it home. Ended up buying it and had like 13 cents in my bank account. It was really, really sad. I was like, okay, I have a foot zone, so at least I can get gas. I can get home. And, so I read it that night, and I was just amazed. And he talked all about the science of mind, how the subconscious works, the role of the conscious mind, how our subconscious is designed to protect us, the stories that we tell ourselves, how all the different glands, and he talks about the 5 elements, the Chinese 5 elements. He talks about Louise Hay's works. He works with the chakras, and all of it is very, very grounded, because I had a very logical, mind, and that was foot zoning for me, even though there's a lot of energy that's in that now, and a lot of people that are more familiar with it, and it works with meridians, and where it used to be woo-woo, it's kind of more accepted. But for me, that was like, this is the physical body that we're working on. So it worked beautiful for my mind and where I was at. And I just knew that I needed to check it out. So I got online, I looked up his website, and he had a training like 2 weeks later in Sedona. And I knew I was going to be there. And literally the money came together. It just fell in my lap. I had a friend that, ironically, in that area that I had moved, that was like, you have to go, and wrote me a check, and off I went. So, and so it all just came together.
Wow.
And when I got there, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Because it was talking about, I had no idea about, even with foot zoning, I had no idea about the chakras and the 5 elements and everything. And the song that he had Sean Galloway sing at the first, and it was the calling, and it was, we call to the angels of the earth, and it was a beautiful chant. But at the first I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is insane. And I remember just thinking, like, am I in the right place? But when Darren started talking and explaining how it worked, and how our bodies and our brains and minds all work together, and how the reactions happen through our 5 senses, and we've taken all that information, it just felt like home. And I haven't stopped using that tool since. And it's kind of the vehicle that I use. I've learned a lot of different things since, but it combines NLP, it combines tapping, it combines reframing, psychonumerology, which is just a fancy name for guided visualization. It uses over, I think, 15, 18 different modalities. And it just adds to it. It's a vehicle that you can keep adding whatever tool you learn to it. And it's just basically having a dialogue with the subconscious mind. And so that's what I do. And I love it. It's beautiful.
Oh, wow. Well, that is just inspiring, because I love that. We have so many amazing women come on the show, and they talk about the different things they do. And I love it. I think it's just inspiring. It's inspiring for me, and it's inspiring for the others. I know that a lot of people come onto a lot of our listeners, because we do get a lot of messages, and they're individuals that have had a lot of health challenges, and it's not something that is new out there. I think it's something that maybe people don't talk about as much as that they maybe should, because they're afraid of what people are going to think when they're like, well, they think I'm complaining because I don't feel good and I don't know how to fix this. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that, because you've lived that life. How do you work with somebody that is brand new, that is scared to, try another person, try another thing, because they're afraid of the failure again? How do you work with these individuals?
Oh, that's such a great question. I get a lot of people who have been in a space where they're hopeless because they've tried a lot of things, but there's something that's magical. And if they're willing to try a session, and if they're willing to have a dialogue, it actually transforms naturally. Because when you dig into the beliefs that are going on inside the mind, like, I'm going to fail, right? That's a life belief. That's something that isn't just in this moment. It's happened many times before. And so when we start to look at, are you ready to actually look at that belief? Do you want to challenge that? Do you want to shift that? Because you can change it. It's just a belief. It doesn't mean that it's true. It's something that we bought into, likely from our past and growing up, because our parents or teachers or leaders or whoever it was that was in our life didn't know how to show love to us in the way that we needed, or express, or whatever we picked up, that we were a failure, we were wrong, or that nothing worked for us, or anything like that, was the story that we latched onto. And then, of course, because that's our story, that's what we send out, and that's what we create, and it tends to self-manifest. And so what's really beautiful is that if they're willing to just try it, the Lifeline is something that it uses the phrase infinite love and gratitude. And when you bring love to something and you look at it, and this is something that I will always forever be grateful for that I learned and that I've been able to use with all the coaching that I've done, is that when you look at the failure as a gift, as something that, and it just, it makes me cry, because that gift is what is protecting them. So it's not wrong. Failure is not wrong. It's not a bad thing. And when you address someone with so much love, saying failure has worked for you in a really profound way, in a subconscious way that is keeping you safe. And let's find out why that is, because there's a reason, and it's a beautiful reason, but your subconscious has confused that, thinking that that's what's keeping you safe. And that's an old belief. It's an old paradigm. It's something that's old software, and we just need to upgrade it. We need to change that belief so that, because that doesn't work for you anymore, right? It doesn't work for you being the adult that you are now, because every time that you're going into failure, you're going into little kid again, and you're living from the past. And we're not there anymore. But we want to take so much love to that space, because the subconscious is really just designed to protect us. So why would we ever get mad or hate or reject or, get frustrated at something that is trying to help us? And I have to remind myself, because I still have flare-ups when I get stressed. I, being a caregiver for my grandma with the last 6 years, almost 6 years of my life, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done. I loved the experience in a lot of ways. I learned so much about myself, and it was the most stressful thing for me and stressful environment, because she was so much in a space of fear and worry and concern and just this heavy energy all the time. And I didn't do very well in it. And so I had a lot of flare-ups come back, and I tended to, I thank heavens I had sessions, and I worked with a person every week with my own stuff so that I could stay in that space, or else I don't think I would have been there that long. But so I'm human. I have my own beliefs, I have my own things, but I'm willing to work on them consistently, and I'm willing to shift those that and whenever anything physical comes up, I always look at, okay, what are you teaching me? Thank you. And rather than push it away, rather than hate it, rather than reject it, I love on it. And that can seem really counterproductive or counterintuitive for a lot of people, because they think, well, why would I ever love this disease, or why would I ever love this physical problem? And that's not what I'm saying. It's more about loving that there's a reason why this is happening, and there's a gift in it, and my subconscious is just reacting from something. And if I can love that, then it can heal, and then it can transform. And so things like headaches and backaches and things like that, they just don't stick around anymore, because I'm willing to have a conversation with them and say, okay, what's going on internally that my body is resisting or reacting with, and creating this headache, or creating this pain, or creating this symptom, or this flare-up, and then let's work on that and bring so much love and gratitude for that space to be able to shift it. And it does. It's magical.
Oh my goodness. And it is, isn't it? It's completely magical. And I like how you're saying that, working with, I think caregivers need to look after themselves more. And I think that they're so scared that if they take time for themselves, that they're going to others are going to think, well, they can't handle it, they can't do this. And I think, like yourself, when you ask for help, or you're seeking help at that time, I think as a caregiver, you're going to be even better for the person that you're looking after. And I think that goes for moms too. A lot of the ladies that listen to our show, I know, are young moms and with young kids at home. And, I wish somebody would have told me when my children were young that it's okay to go and have time to myself and to do things for myself to make me a better person. Because if I'm feeling better, I'm going to be a better mom. I'm going to be a better provider for my family. And it's taken me years to realize that. And what you're saying, I think, is going to resonate with a lot of our listeners today. So I just want to take a moment just to thank you for that, because I really think that what you've done is provided an example to our listeners today. So thank you on that.
Oh, thanks. Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I see a lot of women burn out, and we were never meant to do it alone. Here in the States and different countries, we have I have to be superwoman and do everything, and it never was the case. You look at many different cultures, and it is a community effort, and there's women helping other women, and we just don't have that in our separate homes here. We think that we have to do it all, and that was never the intent for our emotional and mental and how we work together. It just was a belief. we
definitely, well, we need each other. We need that support network. And yeah, I love that analogy, because it seems like you get overwhelmed and we just don't want to show the weakness. And you know what? We're not weak if we ask for help. I think we're even more empowered when we ask for help. We just need it. And I love that you're sharing that with us, because it's something that I think needs to be talked about more in society. We can't be expecting these women that we're raising and that are coming into the world, or that are having children of their own, that they have to do everything themselves. And I just truly love it when others say that, you know what, let's link arms, let's work together. You know what, it doesn't take one person. It takes a community to raise a child and to raise and to be supportive of one another. And that's the same with us. I want to ask you too, because I know our listeners we have global listeners. Do you do webinars? Do you work or mostly work on the phone or one-on-one with people? Like how is it that you've set up your business?
Yeah, it's a great question. I have done, I guess not webinars, but I've done group sessions. I've done one-on-one. I work with people in different countries. I work, I have people all over the globe as well. I do have some programs and things occasionally every quarter, different things. So if they connect to my website, then they should be able to find when the next one is on. But yeah, I do offer a lot of different tools and things, and especially Facebook. And I'm a newbie as far as like the technology website. I can do the technology. It's just not something that my gift is. My gift is working with people. I've been a speaker and trainer, and so I like to get up in front of people and work with people and really dive into the heart of things. So, but I'm working on expanding that, and so that's something that I've been really growing myself, right, to start to bring this information to more and more people. So yeah, I have done several different ways.
Well, that's exciting, because I know that there's some excitement going on. I'm getting some texts right now about it. Kathy, okay, so how do our listeners get a hold of you? How is it that they connect with you? I know that you said that you're kind of just growing in the social media and doing all this. How can our listeners get a hold of you so that they can either have you come and speak at an event of theirs, or they can connect with you one-on-one so that you can work with them?
Yeah, so they're welcome to reach out. I'm on Facebook. Naturally Kathy is my business one. You can find my personal one, Kathy Heinsel. I think I'm like the only Heinsel, at least Kathy Heinsel. And Instagram is Kathy Heinsel, and my website is naturallykathy.com, and that needs some work, but you're welcome to go there, and I still do some blog posts and working on growing that, but mostly Facebook. You can always message. I usually respond within 24 hours. I'm pretty much consistent on there pretty often, so that's a great way to reach out to me.
Oh, excellent. And we're going to be posting this all on our Divas That Care Facebook page also. And if you're a part of the Changemakers Cafe, we usually post in there also. So thank you. This is fantastic. Kathy, I just want to say, do you have any last-minute tips or tools, anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Yeah, I just love you all. I don't, even though I haven't met you, I just feel such a connection and know that breathe into whatever it is and lean into whatever it is that seems like it's challenging you, because there's always something beautiful on the other side of that. And if you're willing to sit with it and have an open dialogue with yourself, then that's where miracles and life changes can happen. And it's actually much easier than we think it is, because our heart wants to talk to us and wants to communicate and wants to heal.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kathy. That is beautiful. And I really appreciate you being our guest today. You had some absolutely inspirational moments there. And I definitely, for all of our listeners out there, make sure, because all of our calls are recorded, make sure you take this call and send it to your family and friends. There is a lot of inspiration in this show. Kathy's got a lot of tips that she's obviously shared throughout this, and a beautiful story. So I want you to make sure that you send it on to all of them today. Kathy, thank you so much for being my guest. I love it. I hope that you do come back on the show again. And when you've got some other things happening, definitely come back and share with all of our listeners.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you so much. This has been so fun. I love connecting. It's beautiful.
Oh, It was great. I really loved it. And so we're going to be posting, as I was saying, we're going to be posting all this information on the Divas That Care on Facebook page and on our website at divasthatcare.com. So make sure that you check it out and send the link on to all your friends and family. So I hope every one of you has a fantastic day and that you pay it forward. So until next time, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
You are strong. You're a woman, after all. To you, giving up is not an option. The same motto applies to your fitness routine. At Spa Ladies Women's Only Fitness Centers, we know success is the result of your consistency and hard work. Instead of wondering if you can, together we can plan how you will. Come experience a fitness community like no other. Visit one of Spa Ladies' convenient women's only locations or go to spalady.ca.